Part 62. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 611. All things decay weakens all attributes of the target by 90%, which seems very strong, but it becomes weaker and weaker in the later stages. However, in these 3 seconds, half of the purple gold violent bear's health was knocked off, which is also a gratifying thing. Shameless guy, all you can do is hide. The purple gold violent bear attacked Yechen continuously, but the latter teleported and dodged at the right time every time, causing the purple gold violent bear to miss and become furious. But the beast is powerful, and the giant bear's palm attack, the aftermath alone will also hurt a group of monkeys. I believe that if the fight continues like this, unless it is a super saint monkey, some ordinary hairy monkeys will die miserably. You big stupid bear, you want to provoke me when you can't hit me, Yechen sneered, dodging the attack of the purple gold violent bear while shouting to the monkeys, "You retreat, leave this to us, this big stupid bear is not my opponent." Google searched Can. Yechen's words were very strong. He said that the sacred beast was not his opponent in the Holy Land. This immediately made the purple gold violent bear even more angry, and the monkeys, although shocked, also retreated as he said, after all, no one would joke with their own lives. As time passed, a minute passed quickly, and the shadow assassination technique entered the cooling stage. The purple gold violent bear's eyes lit up. "Humph, the undercurrent disappeared, I'm afraid you can't dodge freely. Come on, you arrogant guy, take my punch." After speaking, the purple gold violent bear raised his fist and blasted it violently, directly crushing the air, emitting a harsh buzzing sound, and the huge black fist was more than 10 times larger than Yechen's. Seeing this, the monkeys screamed non-stop, fearing that Yechen would be killed by a punch from the purple gold violent bear. In a flash, the purple gold violent bear's fist collided violently with Yechen's body, and with a bang, a deafening explosion sounded, stirring up black fog. However, the black fog dissipated, and Yechen took a punch hard, but he didn't move at all, and only more than 200,000 damage values floated above his head. What a strong and tough human. He took a heavy punch from the purple gold violent bear. Not only did he not die, but he didn't move at all. The white ape opened his mouth wide, his face full of shock. Yes, that human is just an ordinary saint, and his realm is not as high as our super saints, but he can resist the purple gold violent bear head on, which is really unbelievable. The super saint monkeys were also sweating and dumbfounded. The shock of the crowd was particularly harsh to the purple gold violent bear. He was a divine beast, but he was actually in a bitter battle with the saint domain. It was really embarrassing, and his proud dignity was shattered to the ground. In a rage, he actually punched wildly, and his heavy punches rained down on Yechen densely like raindrops. Yechen was slightly startled. The speed of the purple gold violent bear's punching suddenly increased by more than 100 times. It punched hundreds of punches in a second, making the fists appear phantom, and it was unclear who was real and who was fake. This made it very difficult to dodge. Moreover, the speed of the purple gold violent bear also made it impossible for Yechen to dodge. He couldn't even make a move to fight back. In just 2 or 3 seconds, Yechen endured hundreds or thousands of heavy blows from the purple gold violent bear, and he was already dead. However, the corpse suddenly exploded, and yellow sand splashed everywhere. Sand clone. The monkeys looked at Yechen shattered, raising yellow sand all over the sky, and were all shocked. In a flash, Yechen reappeared, and they couldn't help but cheer loudly. Ice barrier. Silence, phantom fist. Gradually, King Shang, Lan Yan and others also joined the battle. Lan Yan cast a 100-yard ice barrier, covering the purple gold violent bear, and the cold air condensed inside. The purple gold violent bear is a divine beast with high resistance to all 4 aspects. Although it was trapped in the ice barrier, it would not freeze every second, but occasionally it would become a huge frozen object, hindering its movement. Almost at the same time, King Shang shot out a golden light, hitting the purple gold violent bear that had turned into a huge ice block, sealing its signature skill. After the revision, the silence has been weakened a lot in the past. It could be silenced directly, but now it needs to cast a spell to shoot a golden light and hit the target to silence. But once the silence is successful, it is also extremely terrifying. Nice, Ye Chen roared. With someone's help, he was more confident in killing the purple gold violent bear. A group of ants dared to fool this king. With a roar, the purple gold violent bear shattered the ice and punched King Shang and Lan Yan. Your opponent is me. The purple gold violent bear was in the ice barrier, and its speed was somewhat weakened. Ye Chen roared, and opened the murderous aura at the same time as Xiao He. The two murderous auras overlapped, and once again weakened the purple gold violent bear's attributes by 30%. The speed of the purple gold violent bear became slower. Ye Chen moved his body and blocked the front of the purple gold violent bear, taking a hard hit. Bang! The purple gold violent bear's punch seemed to hit steel, sparks flashed, and a deafening muffled sound was heard, but Ye Chen took the hit, but he did not move. What on earth is your body made of, Zaoshan CM? It's so hard, the purple gold violent bear roared in anger. Ye Chen smiled when he heard it. The reason why he did not move after taking the blow from the purple gold violent bear was because of his extremely high stiffness. The strength of the tyrant dragon mark increases Ye Chen's strength, defense, and stiffness in the form of percentage. His stiffness is now so high that he is like a tyrant body. To break the stiffness, only strength and stiffness are needed. The purple gold violent bear is a power-type beast, but he cannot break Ye Chen's stiffness, which is enough to prove that Ye Chen's stiffness has reached an outrageous level. This guy has not transformed. After the transformation, he will master the law of power, and then I will not be his opponent. Ye Chen smiled with some relief, and then with the cover of Shang Wang, Lan Yan, and others, he began to attack the purple gold violent bear frantically. Under the critical hit, the HP of the purple gold violent bear was reduced again and again, and the state became weaker and weaker. In less than 10 minutes, he died tragically under the dragon kiss of Ye Chen. The first kill of the purple gold violent bear triggered a world broadcast again, and Ye Chen and others also received generous rewards, spoils, etc. Led by Jian Wuhan, the task of killing the beasts under the purple gold violent bear was also completed at the same time. The monkeys resolved the crisis and immediately hailed Ye Chen and others as heroes and threw them into the air. Tisk, I didn't steal the artifact, but the purple gold violent bear was killed first, but it didn't drop any artifact, not even a godhood. What a loss, Sun Yang muttered to the side. Dear friends, you helped us kill the purple gold violent bear. To express my gratitude, I have sent people to prepare a banquet for you. Welcome to join us. The white ape came over with a smile on his face and said to Ye Chen and others. Afterwards, a group of little monkeys also flew over and pulled Ye Chen and others into the depths of the jungle. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 612. Huaguo Mountain, deep in the back mountain. On a green meadow, the monkeys spread the mellow wine and fragrant fruits all over the ground as if they were having a banquet. Ye Chen and others sat on the grass carpet, and a group of cute little monkeys hummed and chirped, holding wine and fruits to share with them. Ye Chen casually glanced at the emerald green classical wine pot, and was immediately shocked. 100-year monkey wine, holy product / consumable drinking increases 1000, intelligence points 1000, spirit points, no increase after repeated drinking, and instantly restores full MP. This. Ye Chen was so scared that he didn't know what to say. He suppressed his excitement and curiously scanned the various fruits around him. Little fairy peach, holy product / consumable eating increases 1000, strength points 1000, physical strength points, no increase after repeated consumption, and within 600 seconds, strength increases by 30%. Green fairy fruit, holy product/consumable increase agility by 1000 points after consumption, no more increase after repeated consumption, and increase agility by 30% within 600 seconds. Tenacious nuts, holy product/consumable increase stiffness by 100 points and defense by 2000 points after consumption, no more increase after repeated consumption, and increase defense and stiffness by 30% within 600 seconds. A variety of fruits and vegetables, a dazzling array, will sweep away the tiredness in people's eyes at a glance. Although they are all holy products, dozens of fruits and vegetables have different effects. Eating one of each will have a stronger amplification effect than the Divine Dragon Ball. More importantly, although the permanent amplification attribute will not be superimposed after repeated consumption, the subsequent percentage amplification effect will be effective after repeated consumption. Of course, even if there is an effect, most people are reluctant to eat it repeatedly. Permanent amplification is the way to go. If there are any left, why not sell them at a high price? No, it should be a sky-high price. The monkeys are so generous. Damn, looking at these holy fruits, I suddenly have the urge to delete my account and start over. Eating these holy fruits at level 1 is like sweeping all the way, pretending to be awesome and slapping faces all the way to the maximum level. Tank swallowed his saliva and screamed in an exaggerated way. Hey, look at your achievements. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help laughing and cursing, and the atmosphere was harmonious. The lively banquet lasted for more than an hour. Yechen and others chatted with the monkeys while eating fruits and drinking monkey wine. There were more than 30 people in the team, and everyone ate those dozens of holy fruits, and all their attributes soared. Everyone, this time it's really thanks to all the heroes. The purple-gold violent bear took advantage of my king's absence and actually tried to attack my Huaguo mountain. If it weren't for your help, the consequences would be unimaginable. The white monkey sat cross-legged on a huge rock and thanked Yechen and others carefully. Is your king called Sun Wukong? Isn't he in Huaguo mountain? Tank asked curiously. Hearing this, the white monkey was startled. He was a little surprised that Tank and others knew the name of his king. In a flash, he suddenly realized that his king had a monstrous power and was a household hero. It was not surprising that Tank and others knew about it. Suddenly, a strong sense of pride emerged on the white monkey's face, and he said loudly, "Yes, my king is the great sage equaling heaven Sun Wukong." These words were not only surprised by Yechen, Tank, and others, but also a group of monkeys and grandchildren showed an expression of worship. It's true that the king is in Huaguo mountain, but he has been in seclusion for hundreds of years. It's a pity. If the king comes out, I really want all the heroes to see the style of my king, the white ape said with a smile. What level is your king? What grade? Jian Wuhan couldn't help asking. Hearing this, everyone also held their breath and stared at the white ape with sharp eyes. You know, in some mythological stories, Sun Wukong has a copper head and iron arms, and fiery eyes and golden pupils, and is an extremely powerful existence. But fantasy world is a game after all. Since Sun Wukong really exists, everyone is naturally curious about what level he is at. Now in Huaguo mountain, this curiosity is even stronger. Hearing this, the white ape smiled bitterly. To be honest, I don't know the level of the king, but hundreds of years ago, the god emperor who surpassed the upper gods was only on par with my king. I don't know what it is like now. The king has been in seclusion for too long. I don't know how many years have passed. Only a few of the older generation of monkeys in our tribe have seen the king's true face. These little monkeys who can't speak yet have never seen the king. The god emperor who surpasses the upper gods. Everyone was shocked. Although they didn't know the real level of Sun Wukong, they also captured a precious piece of information. It turns out that in Dream World, the upper gods are not the strongest. There are god emperors above them, and Sun Wukong was on par with God Emperors hundreds of years ago. Now I don't know what realm he has reached. How many God Emperors are there? Yechen asked. Howsian.com. Little brother, you don't know. The white monkey laughed and talked with Yechen and the others for a while. The two sides have become familiar with each other and the titles have changed. This white monkey is also an old monster who has lived for who knows how many years. It is reasonable for him to call Yechen a little brother. The white ape was older and rich in knowledge, so he couldn't help but talk. The God Emperor is a position. There is only one person in the past who dominates the gods in the gods' domain. But the gods have endless years. If the God Emperor is a kind of in terms of realm, those former God Emperors naturally count, but I don't know the specific number. Tisk, it seems there is more than one. Yechen twitched the corner of his mouth. Naturally, what he wanted to ask about was the realm. The high-level God who masters the laws and has a large number of believers is enough to destroy the world. It is hard to imagine how terrifying the God Emperor above him is. At this time, there was a hint of awe in everyone's expressions, and some couldn't wait to go to the divine realm and have a ride. While the white ape was chatting with Yechen and others, suddenly a super holy monkey rushed over in a hurry and said to the white ape with some respect, "White Monkey King, another enemy has invaded our Huaguo mountain. It's such an eventful time. Who's coming?" The white ape is the acting Monkey King, and he has a certain majesty. Hearing this, he shouted in a deep voice. The enemy is the Shenlong clan, a 5-clawed black dragon, 3 3-clawed black dragons, and a bald old monk sitting on the head of the 5-clawed black dragon, the super saint monkey said nervously and angrily, sweat dripping down his face. The Shenlong clan is extremely talented. A 3-clawed black dragon is much more tyrannical than a purple-gold violent bear. Now there are 3 3-clawed black dragons and a 5-clawed black dragon attacking, causing the monkey clan to fall into an abyss of despair. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Giladu mobile version reading website. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 613. Yechen was shocked when he heard this. The powerful enemy is the Black Dragon. It's not such a coincidence, right? Some time ago, I used Time Storm to kill a 5-clawed Black Dragon. Before his death, the slightly threatening and vicious roar of the 5-clawed Black Dragon still lingered in my ears. I am a member of the Divine Dragon clan, and a divine beast under the throne of the infinite God. If you dare to kill me, you will be severely punished. It's not such a coincidence. It seems that it is most likely the revenge of the 5-clawed Black Dragon. I didn't expect it to come so fast. Yechen narrowed his eyes deeply and felt a tremor in his heart. At present, Time Storm is still in a cooling state, and Xiaoro's imitation Time Storm has just been used, and the cooling time is longer. A strong enemy is coming, there is no way to fight it. With a plop, the white ape fell down from the boulder in shock and collapsed on the ground, with despair on his face. It would be difficult for them to resist a 3-clawed black dragon, let alone 3 3-clawed black dragons. There is even a 5-clawed black dragon. This is even more terrifying. Since the so-called bald old monk is sitting on the head of the 5-clawed black dragon, he must be the owner of the 5-clawed black dragon. I am afraid he is a higher god. It's over. The enemy's powerful lineup is no less than a disaster for Huaguashan. Jian Wuhan's eyes flashed, as if he had something to say. He whispered to Yechen in private, "Yechen, could it be the 5-clawed black dragon from last time?" Yechen was silent when he heard the words. He breathed a long sigh of relief, and said to the white ape who was slumped on the ground with a desperate expression, "I'm sorry, White Monkey King, I'm afraid we provoked that powerful enemy. I didn't expect that Huaguo Mountain could also be forced to do so. We are in danger." Leave this matter to us. We will bear the trouble ourselves. We will go over now and lead the enemy out of Huaguashan. Hearing this, the white ape's desperate expression immediately faded, and he smiled bitterly and said, "Little brothers, don't say that. Without you, we would have been unable to withstand the purple gold bear. You are the benefactors of our clan who saved us from Huaguo Mountain. Now that we are facing a powerful enemy, how can we let you shoulder the full responsibility? Besides, I'm not bragging. Our Huaguo Mountain is a paradise on earth. Now that those beasts are here, I'm afraid they won't give up. So, little brother, please stop saying such things. Let's move forward and retreat together," Bai said loudly. Said this. Yechen was dumbfounded when he heard this. Huaguo Mountain is indeed a treasured place in the world. Now that the enemy is here, he will not give up even if he thinks about it. What the white ape said was reasonable, but Yechen felt even more uncomfortable. This disaster was caused by him alone, but innocent people had to bear it, and guilt arose spontaneously. On the other side, there is an open space in Huaguashan. Wu Yang rode a 5-clawed black dragon and came with 3 3-clawed black dragons. Immediately, the fragrance of fruits and melons wafted in. Wu Yang took a deep breath and became intoxicated, unable to extricate himself. As soon as the robe was lifted, white energy was aroused, forming a long river of fighting spirit. The strong wind stirred up and produced a huge adsorption capacity. Not long after, melons and fruits of different colors and shapes flew out from the jungle, followed the long river of fighting spirit, and landed steadily in Wu Yang's hands. Wu Yang picked a fiery red date and put it into his mouth. His eyes suddenly froze. Needless to say, this little date tastes sweet and sour. It actually increased his fire power by 200 points and his fire resistance by 1000 points. It's unbelievable. Surprised, Wu Yang swallowed the dates and began to crazily eat the fruits in his hands. The look of shock in his eyes became more and more intense. It turns out that not only the dates, but also every melon and fruit can permanently improve his attributes. Ha ha ha, it's just the lower realm. I really didn't expect that there would be such a treasure. Wu Yang couldn't help but laugh wildly. As powerful as he was, he actually didn't care about this attribute. However, he has 5 million followers. If he captures the Huaguo Mountain, the believers will be able to benefit from it inexhaustibly. The stronger the vitality of the believers and the longer they exist, the more permanent his divine power will be. In addition, if he sits on the flower and fruit mountain and sells and trades some fruits, his status in the gods' domain will also increase. As soon as he thought of this, his eyes were full of madness, which was extremely exciting. Suddenly, the noise of the woolly monkeys was heard. Wu Yang raised his eyes and saw countless woolly monkeys approaching with sticks in their hands. Humph, it's ridiculous. A group of monkeys dare to block my steps. It's like a mantis trying to use his arms as a chariot. He doesn't know his own strength. Wu Yang smiled contemptuously and lifted it with his bare hands, creating an ice storm. In an instant, a group of monkeys that rushed towards them all turned into ice sculptures. Then it cracked and shattered into slag. This group of monkeys also included 2 super saint monkeys, but they were not enough to stop Wu Yang's casual attack. The two sides are not on the same level at all. Wu Yang is a high-level god who masters the laws of light, dark, fire, and ice elements at the same time, and has more than 5 million followers. Even in that divine realm, he still has a place, which shows his strength. So even if it is just a clone of God, it is by no means comparable to the likes of the Holy Realm. Go, kill all those monkeys for me. Be careful, Zhashia.C is not allowed to destroy any plant or tree in this Huaguo mountain, Wu Yang shouted coldly. The 5-clawed black dragon received the order and immediately transformed into a human form. The 3-clawed black dragon received the order and could not transform, so it reduced its size to only 3 meters in length. Then, they rushed into the jungle at the same time and started killing crazily. Wu Yang floated slightly in the air, standing on the spot, laughing wildly. He didn't expect that. He just wanted to chase Ye Chen, but he accidentally broke into Huaguo Mountain. It was really a God-given opportunity. Just as the white ape said, there is absolutely no way Wu Yang would give up Huaguotian. He was so greedy that he even temporarily forgot about chasing Ye Chen. Deep in the mountains behind Huaguo Mountain, monkey sentries came to report one by one, making the white apes as impatient as ants on a hot pot. White Monkey King, I'm afraid there is no other way now, except to ask Brother Monkey. No, ask your king to come out, Tank suggested. Now that Ye Chen doesn't have a time storm, he can't even deal with a 5-clawed black dragon, not to mention that there are stronger gods among the enemies. It seems that this is the only way. Huaguo Mountain is leading the disaster. Only by asking the king to come out can the crisis be resolved. The white ape's eyes flickered for a moment, then he finally nodded and said cautiously to Ye Chen, "Little brother, I see that your speed is as fast as the wind. I will send a little monkey to guide you, and you can invite my king out of the mountain." Ye Chen nodded. He had wanted to meet Brother Monkey for a long time, and more importantly, he felt guilty because of him, and now that there was a turn for the better, he would do his part. The remaining people, help cover all the little monkeys on the island. Before the king arrives, we will try to minimize the losses as much as possible. Then, the white ape turned his head and said to everyone, "Please remember the first domain name of this book. GameElements mobile version reading website. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 614. Soon after, the white ape brought a little monkey eating a banana and threw it to Ye Chen. Ye Chen hurriedly caught it. The banana held in the little guy's hands was bigger than his own, but he was chewing it with relish. Ye Chen patted the little guy's head, and a smile appeared in his eyes. Ye Chen knew this little guy because the latter had helped him pour wine before and secretly drank a sip himself. A very smart little guy, among his peers. He is the only little monkey who can talk. His name is Lingling. Lingling, can you show me the way? Take me to see your king, Ye Chen asked with a smile. The latter was chewing a banana and couldn't answer, so he nodded. Seeing this, Ye Chen didn't say anything more, put it on his head, and rushed out. The Huaguo Mountain is full of peaks and ridges, and its area is much larger than that of the general main city. It took more than half an hour for Ye Chen to pass through countless mountains. Under the guidance of the little monkey Lingling, he finally came to a magical cave. There is a waterfall hanging down from the top of the peak, forming a line, as if a window of flowing water was installed for the cave. From a close look, it is natural and has a sense of great decay and unfinished workmanship. Ye Chen felt quite familiar with this cave. I have seen it on TV and in books before. It is undoubtedly the Water Curtain Cave. Master Ye Chen, my king lives in this, the little monkey Lingling said in a childish voice. He was quite polite and even called Ye Chen master, which made Ye Chen smile happily. Then, he flew into the cave, passing through the window of flowing water at such a speed that he didn't get a drop of water on his body. He walked forward again and found that the Water Curtain Cave was narrow outside and wide inside, and there was a different world. The blessed land of Huaguo Mountain, the Water Curtain Cave, is indeed well deserved. The further he went, the more surprised Ye Chen was. The fragrance in the cave was so strong that it could not be dissolved. Ye Chen looked down and found all kinds of natural treasures. Among them, there was a kind of grass similar to the resurrection grass, but the color was darker and the body was more upright and proud. God's resurrection grass, God's product / consumables, a one-time item that can revive the dead God pet. This. Ye Chen took a breath of cold air. The wild grasses that can be seen everywhere in the Water Curtain Cave are actually the God's resurrection grass that is hard to find in the world. It is really unbelievable. Even though Ye Chen has grown up and won the title of king, he is also a hegemon, but he is still shocked beyond words. If an outsider comes, he will probably piss directly. Countless wild grasses, no, countless God's resurrection grass, mixed with many scarlet flowers. Although the number is not as much as the God's resurrection grass, it is not small either. Blood coagulation flower, God's product / special item. It can absorb the essence of the corpse and take effect when placed in a package. Yechen was shocked again. Beast blood is an item with a wide range of uses. Making equipment, refining medicine, making scrolls, etc. all require beast blood. The higher the grade of the beast blood, the stronger the things made from it. Ordinary beast blood is naturally easy to collect, but essence blood is different. Essence blood is a solid blood, and there is a chance that it will explode when the monster dies. This blood coagulation flower can actually collect essence blood, which is really powerful. Apart from other things, Yechen can use the blood coagulation flower to collect essence blood and irrigate the blood tree, which is enough to make it grow wildly. In addition to the God's resurrection grass and the blood coagulation flower, there are also various natural treasures in this water curtain cave, such as the 10,000-year-old Ganoderma lucidum, iceberg snow lotus, 10,000-year-old ginseng, etc. These are all God-level items, and their effects are no less than Dragon Balls. Of course, there are fewer such as the 10,000-year-old Ganoderma lucidum and iceberg snow lotus, which are far less numerous than the God's resurrection grass. Yechen walked along the way, itching to bear it. It would be a lie to say that he was not moved, but these must have been carefully cultivated by Monkey Brother. He dared not move without permission. But he followed the rules, and the little monkey Lingling jumped off his head and started to eat a ginseng that was 10,000 years old. While eating, the little monkey Lingling's body flashed with colorful lights, which was a state of nourishment. Lord Yechen, these are rare good things, you can eat a little of each. Lingling did not forget Yechen, and invited him with a smile. Can these be eaten at will? Yechen was shocked. Hearing this, Lingling said nonchalantly, "What's the matter? This is the forbidden land of our clan, and ordinary people dare not trespass. Anyway, it's unnoticed, just eat it, no one knows. I often come here, and I have eaten a lot of these things in front of me. If I were not young and could not eat more, I would have eaten them all." Gilialug. Yechen sighed with some difficulty, and the shock and excitement in his heart were really hard to describe with words. Now he knew why Lingling was so extraordinary. It turned out that he often ate these natural treasures as food. In the long run, if he didn't have the talent of a demon, it would be strange. Damn. Any of these would be fought for by people at all costs, but this little guy actually ate it as food. Suddenly, Yechen was a little jealous of Lingling, even though the other party was just a cute little monkey. Damn it, no matter what, it's a rare invitation, how can I miss it, although the one who invited me was not the real owner. Yechen made up his mind and grabbed all kinds of natural treasures and ate them crazily. More than 10 natural treasures entered his body, and Yechen felt a warmth in his body and full of strength. All attributes soared. Its effect is no less than swallowing 10 Dragon Balls. Of course, it is ineffective to swallow the Dragon Ball repeatedly. These natural treasures are ineffective if swallowed repeatedly, so Yechen naturally did not swallow them repeatedly. Tisk tisk, if a level 1 trumpet swallows these, except that it can't fly, it may be able to crush the average Saint Domain strongman. Yechen suddenly remembered the joke made by the tank before, and now thinking about it, it is really exciting. A level 1 trumpet beats the Saint Domain strongman, which is simply crazy cool and domineering, and there is no limit to pretending. This kind of alternative feeling of pleasure is probably what all players want to experience. Of course, he will not delete the account and start over. At present, he is very satisfied with the account with the ID of Yechen. Yechen ate all kinds of natural treasures, and then began to frantically collect the God's resurrection grass and blood-clotting flower. After a while, he finally came back to his senses from the madness. What am I doing? The flower and fruit mountain is in danger now. How can I enjoy it by myself? It is better to ask Monkey King to come out of the mountain first. After waking up, Yechen glanced at the god's resurrection grass and blood-clotting flowers on the ground with some nostalgia, and then he did not stop, holding Lingling and flying forward. Continuing to move forward, a golden light shot out from the depths of the cave, and then the golden light flickered continuously, which was extremely strange. Yechen was slightly startled, and at the same time felt the overwhelming power of God. He turned a corner and finally came to the origin of the golden light. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 615. Golden light flickered, illuminating the surroundings. Where Yechen's eyes were looking, there was a golden monkey, with a phoenix wing purple gold crown on his head, wearing golden armor, and wearing black lead boots. The golden monkey closed his eyes, sat cross-legged, and his body slowly rotated under the control of his mind. While he was meditating, a larger golden monkey phantom appeared, covering the main body. The golden monkey was undoubtedly Sun Wukong, who was relatively restrained, and there was no momentum or light on his body. And the golden monkey phantom, which was like a diamond shield, was showing off its power, with a face as fierce as Thor, waving an iron stick, rotating with the main body, emitting a strong golden divine light. This should be Monkey Brother. Yechen was extremely shocked, and hurriedly used his super high recognition to see through the golden monkey. After hundreds of consecutive attempts, all failed, and he couldn't even see a name. You know, as of now, the level cap of Dream World is only 100. I think Monkey King is only level 100. What's higher is the realm. Monkey King was at the level of God Emperor hundreds of years ago. I really don't know what realm he is at now. Who dares to spy on me, Sun Wukong, while I am practicing? Suddenly, an angry roar sounded, and Sun Wukong opened his eyes. His fiery eyes shot out a flash of lightning and fire, which shattered the rock ground at Yechen's feet. Smoke and dust rose, and Yechen was startled. In the smoke and dust, Sun Wukong stretched his muscles and bones, and a series of crisp crackling sounds like frying beans rang out. I haven't moved for hundreds of years, so I'll just use you, a little thief, to loosen up my muscles and bones. Then the golden hoop flashed out, and Sun Wukong grabbed it and danced in a circle, causing a huge storm to blow away the smoke and dust. Sun Wukong looked directly at Yechen, raised the stick and shouted angrily, "This stick is the Dingai magic needle that I, Sun, took from the deep sea, and it is called the Ruyi golden hoop stick. This blade is obtained by killing the black dragon. It is indestructible and is called the Dragon Kiss." Attracted by Sun Wukong's momentum, Yechen couldn't help but roar. He moved his body, and the Dragon Kiss cut through the air, flashing a strange red light, and rushed towards Sun Wukong. Copperhead and iron bones. Yechen slashed Sun Wukong with a knife, sparks flew, and the clanging sound of metal collision rang out. Under such a heavy blow, Sun Wukong was like an old pine tree, motionless. Instead, Yechen felt the great recoil force, his mouth twitched, and a bad feeling surged in his heart. Crack! Immediately, a crisp sound rang out, and the Dragon Kiss could not withstand the recoil force and broke into two pieces. At the same time, Yechen was also lifted up by the recoil force and flew out. Sun Wukong still did not move a step, but just hit the golden hoop stick, which stretched at a strange speed, and hit Yechen's eyebrows with a bang. For a moment, Yechen had an illusion of surging waves in front of his eyes, and his head was hit hard, swollen and painful, almost exploding. Suddenly, Yechen sweated all over his face, but found that he was not dead. After sweeping his HP, he only had 1 point left. What kind of means is this? Yechen felt that he was not a match for Monkey King's one move, and Monkey King could easily kill him in seconds. Although it is easy to kill in seconds, it only leaves 1 point of HP, which is more high-end style. Ye Chen lay on the ground, glanced at the broken dragon kiss in his hand, and felt a pain in his heart. He looked up with some effort, and saw that the little monkey Lingling had climbed to the position of Sun Wukong's shoulder. "Grandpa, you are so naughty, and you always do this. You know, Lord Yeshen is the benefactor of our Huiguo mountain, a hero." Lingling crossed her arms and began to teach Sun Wukong a lesson. "Humph, do you think I don't know? He entered the water curtain cave and ate all the natural treasures that I cultivated with great effort. I just taught him a lesson, which is already considered light." Sun Wukong pouted with some pain, then glared at Lingling, grabbed her and hung her in the air, ignoring the latter's screams, and roared, "And you, little bastard! How many times have I warned you not to steal those herbs?" "I dare not, Grandpa, I dare not again." Lingling was hung up and begged for mercy. "Hey, kid, you always say this, but you never change. You are quite like me back then." Sun Wukong was very happy, and he stopped making things difficult for Lingling. He picked her up and put her on his head. Obviously, no matter what he said or scolded, he still doted on Lingling. Ye Chen looked at the scene in front of him and opened his mouth in shock. He now knew that since he came to the water curtain cave, Monkey King knew everything he did. Since he knew it, he didn't stop him from eating the treasures of heaven and earth, and now he just taught him a lesson, which was not too much. "I took advantage of Lingling." Ye Chen smiled slightly. He knew very well that if it weren't for Lingling, he would have died since he took the first step into the water curtain cave, not to mention eating those natural treasures. "Oh right. Huiguo Mountain." Ye Chen suddenly remembered the purpose of this trip, and hurriedly said, "Senior, Huiguo Mountain is currently suffering from a catastrophe. A high-level god brought 4 black dragons here and planned to occupy Huiguo Mountain." "Yes, Grandpa, we have been here for more than half an hour. Many of Lingling's brothers, sisters, and elders must have been killed." Lingling cried. "Is this true?" Sun Wukong roared, grabbed Ye Chen with his bare hands, and teleported away from the water curtain cave. Ye Chen was caught by Monkey Brother like a chicken, and appeared in the air for no reason. He couldn't help but be shocked. "Teleport? That's awesome. Although I can teleport, it's only a few dozen yards at most, but Brother Monkey." Ye Chen was so shocked that he couldn't be more shocked. Then the scene in front of him flashed 3 times. Sun Wukong had already taken him and Lingling. Landed on the ground. This is an open grassland, surrounded by lush jungles, and the sunlight shines down, refracting mottled shadows. In front are Wu Yang, the 5-clawed black dragon, and 3 3-clawed black dragons. Behind them were Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others, as well as countless monkeys. Sun Wukong, Ye Chen, and Lingling were right in the middle. In other words, Sun Wukong has now arrived at the center of the battlefield with Ye Chen and Lingling. "Are you kidding me? Brother Monkey actually only took me 1 second to march for more than half an hour." Ye Chen was really frightened now. It was so terrifying. He couldn't help but think about Brother Monkey's strength. Got a new understanding. Is this the so-called somersault cloud? A somersault, 1,000 miles. Sun Wukong, Ye Chen, and Lingling suddenly descended on the battlefield, causing countless monkeys behind to burst into deafening cheers. This is faith. Ahead, Wu Yang was also secretly shocked. These people suddenly arrived on the battlefield, but he had not noticed it before. How fast was this? Please remember the first domain name of this book. Giladu mobile version reading website. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 616. Knowing yourself and your enemy, you can fight 100 battles without danger. Realizing the power of Sun Wukong, Wu Yang's eyes flashed with divine light, and he began to see through Sun Wukong's information. However, he was just like Yuchen, he could not see through it no matter what, and he could not even see a name. The difference is that Yuchen is only in the realm of the holy domain, while he is a higher god, but he still can't see through Sun Wukong's attributes, which is worth pondering. Google searched Can. There can't be a higher existence than the seat in the lower realm. This wild monkey must have used some means to hide his information. Wu Yang didn't believe that Sun Wukong was a higher existence than himself. On the other side, Sun Wukong looked around and saw countless monkeys bleeding and falling to the ground, and the anger in his pupils became more and more intense. "Where is Xiaobai?" Sun Wukong asked. "He was killed by the bald old monk, and his body was dragged down to hell by the ghost," a super saint monkey said sadly. Hearing this, Sun Wukong closed his eyes, pressed his hands on the ground for a second, and pulled the corpse of the white monkey out of hell. Such a magical power made Ye Chen, Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others gasp. In hell. With a bang, King Yama was furious and shattered the stone table in front of him with one palm. "That stinky monkey has ruined the order of my hell again." King Yama's roar resounded throughout the hell, causing countless lonely ghosts to scream. "The stinky monkey has long tampered with the book of life and death. His monkeys and descendants are all immortal. They were finally killed and came to hell, but were fished up again. It's really hateful. That stinky monkey doesn't take me seriously at all." King Yama was furious and complained to the judge beside him. "Lord Yama, calm down. Even the God Emperor can't do anything about that monkey. I guess the higher UPS will just turn a blind eye to this matter." The judge shook his head helplessly. "Ah." King Yama sighed. He knew that Sun Wukong and the God Emperor were equal, but Sun Wukong disturbed the order of hell and damaged the power of God. "Great, great king." The white ape resurrected and opened his eyes to look at Sun Wukong, feeling ashamed. Before Sun Wukong went into seclusion, he handed over the flower fruit mountain to him, but he was not strong enough. Not only did he fail to protect the flower fruit mountain, but he also died in the battle. Now that he was resurrected by the king with a heaven-defying method, he felt even more ashamed. "Xiaobai, you are average in talent. You don't need to practice hard anymore. Here are some divine natures. You can refine them into gods." Sun Wukong waved his hand, and several diamond-shaped crystals flashing colorful light flew into the hands of the white ape. The divine nature that flashes with light is definitely the original divine nature. The divine nature that flashes with multiple lights like this contains multiple original laws. This kind of divine nature is extremely precious. Only by killing the gods who master multiple laws at the same time can there be a certain probability of exploding. Sun Wukong threw several of them at once, which shows his brilliant record. Of course, after the revision, there is only a certain probability of refining the godhood and mastering the power of the law contained in the godhood. In other words, there is a possibility of failure. Because of this, Sun Wukong gave multiple godhoods at one time, almost to protect the white ape. Generous, willful, powerful. Ye Chen, Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others were shocked, their jaws almost dropped to the ground, and Tank and others drooled. "Tisk tisk, monkey brother is really full of treasures, I really want to steal one." Sun Yang wiped his nose and said a little unbearably. Of course he didn't say it out loud, just displayed it in the team channel. "Dare to steal monkey brother, you are looking for death. Uncle, please spare us, if you steal, you will implicate all of us." Everyone started to make noise in the team channel, and shouted at Sun Yang's impulse. "Don't be so excited, I'm just joking." Sun Yang laughed. On the side, Wu Yang was shocked when he saw Sun Wukong taking out several divine bodies, all of which contained multiple original laws. To be honest, even he was jealous of these divine bodies. After all, refining divine bodies repeatedly does not cover the original laws, but has the opportunity to comprehend new laws. Wulyan mastered the 4 laws of light, dark, fire, and ice at the same time, but still wanted to go further. No matter who it is, they can't resist the temptation of power. Even the seat is jealous of the divine body, but this monkey can take it out at will. What on earth is he? Wulyan was a little suspicious. He felt that he underestimated Sun Wukong's energy, but even so, he still didn't think that Sun Wukong was a higher existence than himself. Monkey, you are the king of this mountain, die for this seat, Wulyan roared and chopped towards Sun Wukong with a palm. There was a strong confidence and ecstasy in his eyes. Sun Wukong casually took out the colorful divine body, which was full of treasures. Naturally, he wanted to kill Sun Wukong and explode those treasures. This time, Wulyan used the power of the law of fire element. Because in his opinion, monkeys are covered with hair, Hashiana.com should be more afraid of fire. Suddenly, a raging wave of fire rushed out, and its momentum was so great that it was like a beast opening its bloody mouth and trying to swallow Sun Wukong. However, Sun Wukong's eyes condensed slightly, and a strong wind was stirred up around his body, which directly extinguished the fire wave without leaving a spark. A mere clone actually came to Old Sun's flower and fruit mountain to make trouble. Sun Wukong snorted coldly, and then smiled grimly. Fortunately, it's a clone. If you come in person, I will destroy you in both body and soul. Wulyan was still shocked that Sun Wukong didn't move and casually dispersed him with one move. When he heard the words, he was shocked again. However, Sun Wukong had already made a move. With a sweep of the golden hoop, the fighting spirit broke through the air and merged into a long golden river, instantly covering Wulyan, the 5-clawed black dragon, and the 3 weak black dragons. When the golden light dissipated, Wulyan and others seemed to be wiped out. Seconds. This. Ye Chen's mouth twitched. Of course, he knew that Monkey King was powerful, but he didn't expect that Monkey King was so powerful that he could kill the upper gods in seconds. And Wulyan is not an ordinary upper god. He has 4 laws and 5 million believers under his seat. Although he is only a clone of God, he is much more powerful than an ordinary upper god. Even Ye Chen was startled, and the rest of the people were even more shocked. In addition to being shocked, they also had a strong sense of respect in their hearts. The monkeys, on the other hand, were not surprised at all, but cheered. Little kid, those people just now, were you the ones who led them here? Suddenly, Sun Wukong's flaming eyes stared at Ye Chen fiercely, which immediately made the latter's hair stand on end. Wulyan, no matter what, is a high-level god. He would not come down to the world for no reason and come to Huaguo Mountain. There must be something fishy going on. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 617. My King. The purple gold violent bear was causing trouble earlier and wanted to occupy our flower and fruit mountain. If it weren't for Lord Ye Shen's intervention, our losses would have been even more severe. Seeing Sun Wukong staring at Ye Chen's eyes, emitting a cold light, all the monkeys and their descendants hurriedly pleaded for Ye Chen. Even the white ape pleaded for Ye Chen and others. Under the monkeys' chatter, Sun Wukong became irritable and finally compromised. He just grabbed a handful of monkey hair and blew it, and the monkey hair fell to the ground and grew. On the back mountain, millions of monkeys and their descendants suddenly appeared, standing together hand in hand, densely packed. They were all living beings. Creating life. Wow, I've really opened my eyes today. Jian Wuhan, who always prides himself on being calm, couldn't help but exclaimed. Monkey brother is really terrible. Not only can he kill the upper gods in seconds, but he can also create life. A handful of monkey hair has about dozens of strands, creating millions of lives. That is to say, one monkey hair can give birth to 100,000 monkeys and their descendants. These creatures were all created by Monkey King, and naturally they were his followers, millions of followers appeared in an instant, and his strength had broken the cognition of Ye Chen and others. More importantly, Monkey King was not happy. Because of his infinite cruelty, he killed millions of monkeys and their descendants. Monkey King probably just wanted to make up the number and let Huiguo Mountain return to its former bustle. Ye Chen and others therefore suspected that Monkey King's strength probably no longer needed the so-called power of faith. After doing this, Sun Wukong glanced at Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others, and finally stopped his eyes on Ye Chen, his face indifferent. "Little kid, you helped Huiguo Mountain kill the purple gold violent bear, which is a merit, and the disaster of Huiguo Mountain was caused by you, so you have faults. The merits and faults offset each other, and I, Sun Wukong, don't want to make things difficult for you." Sun Wukong sighed. Hearing this, Ye Chen, who was sweating profusely, breathed a sigh of relief. This is the best result. He didn't lose anything. Instead, he solved the big problem of Wu Yang and Heilong invisibly. Moreover, he stole countless treasures from Monkey King, he made a profit. Speaking of which, Ye Chen was still the beneficiary. It was just that the dragon kiss was broken, which was no big deal. When he cut off Jian Wuhan's withered sword, the latter had been repaired. It was a small matter. After calming down, Ye Chen gathered his companions and was about to leave when he was stopped by Monkey King. "Wait, although it was unintentional, I, Sun Wukong, shattered your weapon after all. I will give you something as compensation." Monkey King pointed a little, and a small ball of golden light shot into Ye Chen's eyebrows. "System, congratulations on receiving the gift from the great sage Sun Wukong and obtaining indestructible body of diamond *1. Indestructible body of diamond, special skill LV1, passive skill, defense add 10,000 points, stiffness add 1,000 points. In addition, when attacked at close range, it can absorb part of the damage and counter-attack the opponent." As the system prompt sounded, Ye Chen opened his mouth in shock. To be honest, when Monkey Brother called him just now, he was a little scared, fearing that Monkey Brother would hold him responsible for stealing the treasures of heaven and earth. Unexpectedly, Monkey Brother was generous and not only did not hold him accountable, but also gave him a powerful skill. The indestructible body of Vajra should be a bronze head and iron bones, right? Just now, Monkey Brother broke my dragon kiss, it should be this skill, Ye Chen pondered secretly, and couldn't help but be ecstatic. The indestructible body of Vajra, only LV1, increases such terrifying defense and stiffness. If the level is increased, it will be even more terrifying, and can rebound melee damage and shatter enemy weapons. It's so powerful. Thank you. Ye Chen was about to thank him, but found that Monkey Brother had disappeared. At this time, Lingling walked to the location of the spoils that Wu Yang and others had exploded. The killed Wu Yang was just a clone of God, and it was impossible for him to explode anything. So these spoils were all exploded by the 5-clawed black dragon and the 3 3-clawed black dragons. There were 4 items that flashed with colorful rays of light, 2 dragon balls and 2 divine bodies. Of course, they were the most common divine bodies. Lingling picked out the 4 items, then jumped onto Ye Chen's shoulder in 2 or 3 steps, handed the items to Ye Chen and said with a smile, "Lord Ye Chen, our grandfather is the bad-tempered one, we still respect you very much. Well, just take it. We have many natural treasures in Huiguo Mountain, and we don't need these things," the white ape also said with a smile. Ye Chen no longer delayed and took all 4 items. He had already eaten the dragon ball, and it was invalid to eat it again, but he could give it to Sun Yang and Jian Wuhan. "Okay, I'm going to the God's trial field next, so I won't send you off," the white ape smiled. He was also eager to improve his strength, otherwise, he would not be able to protect Huiguo Mountain. As for Monkey Brother, it was just a flash in the pan, and he was probably in seclusion again at this moment. Ye Chen and the others nodded, said goodbye to the monkeys, and then teleported away from Huiguo Mountain and arrived at a nearby occupied island. Ye Chen gave 2 Dragon Balls to Sun Yang and Jian Wuhan respectively. Zhexian.c. After the 2 ate them, the number skyrocketed and they were ecstatic. The remaining Shang Wang, Tank, and others all looked at them with envy, but they didn't say anything. Strength is king. There is no need to talk about feelings. If there are good things, they will naturally be distributed according to the order of strength. Ye Chen is the strongest, followed by Sun Yang, and both of them are titled kings. Next up is Jian Wuhan, followed by Lan Yan, Shang Wang, and others. If anyone improves in strength, ranks higher, or even surpasses Ye Chen, then he will naturally have priority in obtaining resources. How is it? You guys continue to open up wasteland. I need to go back to repair the Dragon Kiss. It was broken by Monkey Brother before Ye Chen smiled slightly, said goodbye to everyone, and was directly transferred back to the Chinese theater. He didn't know who Jian Wuhan asked to repair the withered sword, and he didn't ask, because he believed that Dr. Goblin, Byron must be able to repair it. Doctor, excuse me. Ye Chen came to the underground world with ease and was personally entertained by Dr. Byron. The goblins also treated Ye Chen as a guest of honor. Today is different from the past. With Ye Chen's current strength, as long as he wants, he can destroy the entire underground world with a flip of his hand. The goblins have a deep respect for Ye Chen, and of course they are grateful. Because Ye Chen did not use his strength to oppress them, but treated them with courtesy, provided them with countless resources, and also solemnly promised that one day they would return to the ground and enjoy a sunny and nourishing life. The original promise seems to be fulfilled today. There are almost no Holy Domain NPCs in the 3 major camps in the entire Chinese war zone, and no one can oppress them. And with Ye Chen's name, those non-Holy Domain NPCs, and even some players, have no guts to steal even if they have the intention to steal. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 618. Ye Chen is the marshal and leader of the Light Alliance in the China War Zone Light Camp. He directly invited the goblins to join the China War Zone and the Light Camp. This is the greatest guarantee. In the future, the goblins can go anywhere in the Light Camp. Thank you, Lord Ye Chen. I will help you repair your weapons and move the goblins out. Dr. Byron was so excited that the goblins' wish for many years finally came true. Ye Chen smiled slightly and gave 10 more holy pieces to further improve the strength of the goblins. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. In this way, the goblins will return to the ground more smoothly. In the underground world, on the grass in front of the goblin research room, Ye Chen sat for 2 hours, and Byron finally repaired the Dragon Kiss. Dragon Kiss, Artifact. Level, 80. Equipment type, Dagger. Physical attack power, 8289-90. Strength add 8000. Stamina add 6000. Agility add 6000. Intelligence add 4000. Spirit add 4000. Fire attribute attack. Fire attribute enhancement add 4000. Fire attribute resistance add 12,000. Special effect, when attacking a new target, there is a 100% chance of causing armor penetration, which lasts for 3 seconds. New target refresh time, 60 seconds. Note, bound item, cannot be traded, cannot be dropped, and cannot be stolen. Ye Chen looked at the brand new Dragon Kiss and was overjoyed. Byron not only repaired it, but also transformed the Dragon Kiss, extracting the dark element power contained in it and converting it into fire element. This was exactly what Ye Chen wanted, because he was not only a senior preacher of the god of fire, but also possessed the artifact, the Burning Heart Ring, which doubled the fire attribute damage. Lord Ye Chen, if there is nothing else, we will start moving, Byron said respectfully. I don't know when he started to respect Ye Chen more and more, and he has already called him Lord. Well, you go. Yechen nodded. So, the goblin clan began to move, and Yechen was a little excited and scanned his attributes. Yechen, ID. Race, human. Profession, assassin. Warzone, China. Faction, light. Position, martial. Title, great good man, perceiver, hidden weapon master, source of sin, thief hand, identifier, national leader, hell messenger, dragon slayer. Medal, medal of courage, martial medal. Level, 85. HP, 3.63 million / 3.63 million. MP, 3.47 million / 3.47 million. Strength, 221,010. Asterisk physical attack, 2292102300000. Asterisk fire attribute enhancement, 23,500. Asterisk dark attribute enhancement, 17,250. Asterisk fire attribute resistance, 72,030. Asterisk dark attribute resistance, 55,050. Asterisk perception, 2. Asterisk critical hit rate add 100%. Attack speed 50%. Movement speed 80%. Skills, LV30 stun, LV33 stab, LV39 thief, LV25 lock picking, stealth, sprint, LV35 throat slitting, LV32 bleeding, LV29 wind step, LV33 spinning stab, LV29 disarm trap. Rare skills, LV31 bleeding, LV39 hidden weapon mastery, LV31 shadow attack, LV32 stun dart, shadow escape, LV33 boomerang, blood blade, shadow stab, flying thunder god, strong hidden, LV24 7 star kill, LV26,000 needle slaughter, LV12 poison dragon stab. Additional skills for equipment, goodwill aura, war cry, LV7 fighting spirit. Special skills, LV36 poisoning, LV69 forging, blood eyes, LV31 breaking martial arts, LV28 advanced dart production drawings, LV100 strong attack, team teleport, self-recovery, resurrection, hell's hand, LV31 fire him, LV32 fire armor, LV33 armed hardening, dragon pattern, sand clone, diamond indestructible body. Assassin skill tree, final blow, LV16 murderous aura, LV18 killing mark, LV20 shadow assassination. Cross-class skills, LV31 sea of fire. Talent, firm will, passive. Glancing at the attributes, Yechen's spirit was lifted. After coming out of Huaguo Mountain, his various attributes have exploded. Health, defense, resistance, speed, etc., have all skyrocketed several times. The most important thing is damage. Now his ordinary attack is more than 3.5 billion. Any skill is 100 billion. The final skill is at least 500 billion, and the strongest back piercing the heart reaches a terrifying 1 trillion. This kind of power increase is really too impressive. Yechen quietly clenched his fist and felt the power surge. Of course, natural treasures are hard to come by, and Yechen dare not hope that there will be a chance to obtain other kinds of natural treasures. If he wants to have a big improvement, he may need to become a god. For the first time, Yechen was eager to quickly upgrade to level 99, and then refine the godhood to become a god. It's not easy to upgrade to level 99, and unless you refine the original godhood and master the laws, you can spread faith and recruit believers. Yechen knew it well. Most of his hands were ordinary godhoods, and he only had 2 original godhoods. 1 light element original godhood and 1 dark element original godhood. And the dark element origin godhead has been given to the Abyss Demon, who has entered the god trial field. I think with the strength of the Abyss Demon, he will most likely be able to pass the level and refine the Godhead. But refining the Godhead is one thing, and whether or not to master the law of the dark element is another thing, which is a probability. I can refine the light element origin Godhead, but I may not be able to master the light element law, so, upgrading now is one thing, and on the other hand, I have to get more Godheads, especially the origin Godhead. Ye Chen pondered inwardly, and he suddenly remembered that Monkey King casually gave many colored Godheads to the white ape, and he couldn't help but be very envious. But it was just envy. In Huaguo Mountain, he had already received too many benefits, so naturally he didn't dare to expect anything more. And Monkey King didn't seem to welcome them, the humans, to Huaguo Mountain. Leaving the underground world, he came to the side of the blood tree. Ye Chen glanced at the land next to the blood tree and found that the transformed fruit tree seeds had sprouted and grown into a small sapling. Master, I found that the transformation fruit tree next to me can grow very quickly. I think it will mature in about 10 days and produce the first transformation fruit. The blood tree spoke, still with a clear voice like a little boy. Well, that's great. Ye Chen nodded, took out a handful of God's resurrection grass and blood-clotting flower, and planted them next to the blood tree for them to continue to reproduce. Of course, Ye Chen also kept some God's resurrection grass and blood-clotting flower for backup. Directly use a God's resurrection grass to revive Xiao Jin who died in the battle, and the long-lost dragon roar sounded. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 619. Master, these little flowers make me feel very comfortable. Can I eat them? The blood tree said weakly. No. Ye Chen refused decisively and said, this is a blood coagulation flower, which is a flower-shaped container that can absorb all kinds of blood essence. I carry these flowers with me, and I will absorb some of the blood essence of the beasts and come back to irrigate you. Yeah, that's even better. The blood tree smiled happily. Ye Chen also smiled. In his previous life, the guy who got the blood tree seeds died prematurely and only cultivated the blood tree to the Holy Land. He will not repeat the same mistake and will definitely cultivate the blood tree into a divine tree. If there is a higher realm above the gods, Ye Chen will continue to irrigate and cultivate the blood tree to become the world's #1 divine tree. Xiao Jin, did you see it? That is the seedling of the transformation fruit tree. It will bear fruit in 10 days, and you will also be able to transform. Ye Chen smiled slightly. Xiao Jin is gifted. Once he transforms, he will at least master one law. In that case, he will have the qualifications to spread the faith. Ye Chen will never be stingy, and he will not be like Wu Yang controlling the black dragon. On the contrary, he will help Xiao Jin spread the faith and strengthen his strength. There are hundreds of millions of players in China. Ye Chen is now famous and is not afraid of not finding believers after becoming a god. Thank you, Master. Xiao Jin thanked excitedly. Ye Chen smiled and nodded. Now the god's resurrection grass and transformation fruit are guaranteed. Work hard to upgrade, repel water, and the original godhood. Ye Chen locked the target, and then he will act accordingly. On the other side, the team led by Sun Yang and Jian Wuhan bypassed the flower and fruit mountain and continued to move into the depths of the world ocean. The world ocean actually has a very clear regional division, namely, East China Sea, South China Sea, West China Sea, North China Sea, and Wanghai. East China Sea, South China Sea, West China Sea, North China Sea, these 4 seas surround Wanghai. The branches of the world ocean are the branch seas of the major war zones. And the branches of Wanghai are these 4 seas. Wanghai is the most dangerous. Even if the forces that can dominate Wanghai go to the god's domain, I believe they can stand firm. In other words, Wanghai is the ultimate stage of the human world in Dream World. The Chinese theater, the Japanese theater, the Korean theater, the Russian theater, the French theater, and many special theaters jointly operated by multiple small countries. These more than 10 theaters, all belong to the East China Sea. The rest of the West Sea, the South China Sea, and the North Sea, each sea area has more than 10 theaters, which shows the vastness of the world's oceans. The Chinese theater led by Ye Chen, Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others has now been opened up to the second half of the East China Sea. If they go further, they can directly reach Wanghai. I believe that at that time, the major forces that dominate the three seas of the West Sea, the South China Sea, and the North Sea will also enter Wanghai. Many forces collide and fight in Wanghai. Dominating Wanghai means dominating the human world. At present, Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan and others bypassed Huiguo Mountain and came to a small island in the second half of the East China Sea. This small island seemed to be shrouded in a layer of hazy black air, which was extremely gloomy, and the screams of bats could be heard from time to time. Sun Yang and Jian Wuhan were unmoved and led the team into the forest on the island. After discovering some mantis monsters with bright red sharp double knives, they were immediately shocked. This mantis monster is nothing more than a level 90 world elite, which is not surprising. However, there is generally only one kind of monster on the islands of the world ocean. The screams of bats heard by everyone before indicated that there were bats on the island. Now that the mantis monster was found again, they were a little surprised. Could it be that the screams of the bats were caused by the skills of the players? Jian Wuhan's heart trembled. Once such a guess arose, he became more cautious and immediately installed a detection device. Suddenly, things within a radius of 1,000 yards appeared in front of him like a projection. Jian Wuhan switched the camera several times and observed carefully. He found that a team of no less than 50 people was flying towards him rapidly. "We have entered the territory of other war zone forces," Jian Wuhan said in a deep voice. Everyone was excited to try. Except for Sun Yang, who was only level 80, everyone was above level 90. In addition, after experiencing the incident in Huiguo Mountain, everyone had eaten a lot of holy fruits, and their attributes were greatly increased. Even if Ye Chen was not there, they had no reason to be afraid of people from other war zones. "Rush over and fight them," Tang stared at Sun Yang and Jian Wuhan and grinned. Obviously, if Ye Chen was not there, he would also obey the command of these two people. "No, they are already here." Jian Wuhan shook his head. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw nearly 50 people flying in front of him. Obviously, the 50-man team were all strong men in the holy domain. Of course, those who dared to come to the world ocean were basically strong men in the holy domain. The French war zone. Sun Yang glanced at the other party, his face slightly sank. The two people leading the other party were named Nash and Tianxia. Nash was wearing a blood-red earl's robe, with black bats resting on his shoulders. He was calm and confident, and his every move exuded strong confidence and calmness. There was a faint cruel smile on the corner of his mouth, which matched his image. This guy is a hidden professional player, and a very rare hidden profession, vampire count. That Tianxia was wearing a neat suit and a burgundy top hat. He had no weapons in his hands, but was just fiddling with a playing card. It was an old one. He also had a hidden profession, magician. Vampire Nash, magician Tianxia. Everyone was shocked when they saw the newcomers. Nash and Tianxia were the title kings in the French theater. The other side had a large number of people, and there were two title kings, so they should not be underestimated. On this side, Ye Chen was not there. Although Sun Yang was a title king, he was still growing. After a slight comparison, everyone couldn't help but murmur in their hearts. Title king. Jian Wuhan smiled slightly, and excitement flashed across his face. He was powerful, had a withered great sword, and claimed to be able to fight against the title king. After a while, Nash and Tianxia led the team to come, glanced at Sun Yang and Jian Wuhan, and smiled teasingly. Chinese, tisk tisk tisk, I heard that you defeated the Korean theater, the Japanese theater, and the Russian theater? Haha, it seems that Arthur, Leon, Ing, and those idiots are getting worse and worse. Nash smiled playfully, but he did not mention the name of Jing Ongji, because there was also an ambiguous relationship between him and Jing Ongji. He couldn't say much about some contemptuous words. You are the thief god. You started by stealing chickens and dogs, interesting. Tianxia looked at Sun Yang, smiled teasingly, and then looked around, and asked in some doubt, where is the overlord night god? Not anymore. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 620. That's all, even if he comes, it will only be another corpse. Tianxia smiled teasingly and looked at Jian Wuhan again. There was a strong confidence in his eyes, even coercion. Jian Wuhan, in the past few years, you are still standing still, and you have been surpassed by two newcomers. If I were you, I would have killed you with a piece of tofu. Searched Can on Google. Hearing this, King Shang, Lan Yan and others all looked at Jian Wuhan with complicated expressions, while the latter looked embarrassed and angry, and his face turned red. But all the kings are almost all national-level esports players, and they have all met each other before. As for Jian Wuhan, who was a leading presence in the Chinese gaming field at the time, he never achieved any rankings for China, and his strength was not as good as some of the title kings. This has always been a pain in his heart. Now that Tianxia actually said it openly, to him, it was like a slap in the face, and it was a slap in the face. Wuhan, don't worry about those past events. Now reshuffle the cards. In my opinion, you are no worse than others, King Shang shouted sharply. Hearing this, Jian Wuhan finally woke up, roared, and drew his sword. All things decay. Jian Wuhan's attack undoubtedly signaled the battle, and the faces of the members of both sides became serious. Looking at the withered yellow light waves that were speeding towards them, Nash, Tianxia and the others did not panic at all, they still looked confident and calm. Immediately, Tianxia threw out the old man in his hand, and it collided with the withered yellow light waves without any fancy, and actually absorbed the power of decay of all things. Magic card, Devour. Tianxia's random move actually destroyed Jian Wuhan's proud trump card skill. Looking at Jian Wuhan's surprised expression, Tianxia looked disdainfully and sneered, "You have been fighting with Arthur, Leon, Shen Gongji, Ying, and others for countless days. Do you think you have any other trump cards? What? Headhunting alliance?" Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others were shocked at the same time. If it is as Tianxia said, they have been fighting with the Japanese, Russian alliances, and Korean teams for more than a month, and I don't know how many battles broke out during this period. The so-called trump card has long been exposed. Although Nash and Tianxia are wild and unruly and always show an arrogant attitude, they are still thoughtful. As the saying goes, if you know yourself and the enemy, you can fight 100 battles without danger. They had already bribed the headhunting alliance and obtained information about Ye Chen, Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others. At the moment, Jian Wuhan's all things are rotten and are directly targeted. This is one aspect. On the other hand, it also shows how powerful the profession of magician is. After the revision, suppression has been weakened by more than 10%. In the past, it was directly banned, but now it requires the golden light to be released remotely and hitting the enemy before it can be silenced. How could an average expert be hit so easily? Therefore, the status of the holy word mage profession on the battlefield has dropped exponentially. Tianxia didn't use the silence talisman, he just broke it with one move, it was too powerful. Magic card, Flurry. Tianxia clapped his hands, and a deck of cards appeared in his hands, and then like a goddess scattering flowers, he threw the entire deck of cards away. Dozens of playing cards, each one wrapped in sharp blue fighting energy, were shot towards the crowd like darts. Iron Wall. Taishan, Tank, and other shield warriors roared and charged forward. Their huge shields turned into huge iron walls, connecting with each other to form a hard and deep iron wall, blocking everyone. Bang bang bang. The poker darts were like cannonballs, hitting the iron wall, and the fire curtain flew away, creating a deafening explosion. At the same time, all members of both sides took action at the same time, bombarding each other with various skills. Produce fire waves, thunder and lightning, dark clouds, ice and snow, storms. The ground could not withstand heavy blows, cracked and exploded, forming a deep pit, trapping all members of both sides in it, and sending up smoke and dust. War cries, fighting sounds, and the dull clashing sounds of hand-to-hand combat filled the entire battlefield. The frantic attack by both sides was just the aftermath, and the jungle was razed to the ground in a short time. Looking around, there was no sign of any mantis monster at all. The monsters were frightened and did not dare to wade into the muddy water. Under such fierce artillery fire, the lineups of both sides were quickly depleted. Gradually, the smoke and dust dissipated, and the battle situation was clearly visible. With the current lineup, it could no longer create a sensation of the same scale as before. Sun Yang's eyes flashed. As the title king, his mission is to kill the opponent's title king. He had sneaked into the battlefield a long time ago. He moved like a ghost, dodging and attacking his various skills. Then he rushed forward and came to a crispy mage like lightning. The sharp dagger had already pierced the opponent's fighting spirit and penetrate into the opponent's body. Second. The opposing mage had a face full of shock and fell down with lifeless eyes. The god of thieves is there, gather fire. Just when Sun Yang killed the mage instantly, a violent roar came from the enemy group, followed by countless explosive flames, ice bullets, and even various arrows, all of which were shot towards Sun Yang rapidly. However, Sun Yang remained unmoved. The stab that instantly killed the mage before was not as simple as a normal attack, but a pre-positioned sneak attack. I saw that when the various skills of Jiwo rushed towards me. ZhaoZheqian.com. Sun Yang disappeared directly on the spot and came to Tianqi's side like a ghost. Feeling the strong wind, Tianqi turned his head and glanced at Sun Yang's playful eyes, and was shocked. Wipe your throat. Sun Yang sneered, and with a wave of the dagger, he cut Tianqi's throat. As a huge damage appeared, Tianqi fell to the ground. Roar. Seeing Tianqi die in battle, the enemy roared and besieged Sun Yang. Sun Yang calmly glanced around, and finally locked his eyes on a low-health archer. The next moment, the archer exploded for no reason, and the flames flew, forming an extremely huge black sea of fire. This is hellfire. The next moment, countless dense damage appeared, and the enemies fell in groups. Strictly speaking, Sun Yang's hellfire damage is not high, and the group attack is only 1 million. Facing the world monster, it is almost useless, but for the player, it is like a devastating blow. 3 seconds later, only Nash was left in the French team. On the Chinese side, there were more than a dozen people including Sun Yang and Jian Wuhen. Such a situation made everyone happy. Thief God, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Everyone was greatly encouraged and praised Sun Yang. Just as they were in high spirits, a poker card suddenly popped up from the body of Tianqi lying on the ground. It was an old ghost. Magic card reincarnation. This was a passive skill that could only be activated after death. Once activated, it would be resurrected with full health. Oh my, I was careless. A playful voice sounded, and in the shocked eyes of Sun Yang, Jian Wuhen, and others, Tianqi slowly stood up.